So today's coaching moment has to do with consciousness itself. We use that word consciousness quite a bit in yoga, and depending on what part of the world you might come from, that word could either be really, really weird, really, really woo-woo, really out there, I don't know what that is, or that word might be a part of your everyday consideration, and you might be working with it. I thought we'd take a moment to get clear on what it is and why it's so very important that we pay attention. So when I use the word consciousness, I'm talking about my ability to perceive, just simply what I'm able to see. My level of consciousness is related to my level of awareness. The idea in our life as human beings is to become more and more conscious, more and more aware. Why? Why should we even care about that? Okay, so I would ask each of you, are you glad to be here in class today? You just think to yourself. Think to yourself, I'm glad to be here, I'm not glad to be here. Whatever your experience is, let's just say you're glad to be here. I would now ask you, what got you here? Literally, exactly what got you here. And so you might think, well, I got an announcement, or I received an email, or a friend told me about this class and I decided to come. Or I saw a Facebook Live or some mention on social media. And you think about it and just think for a minute, exactly how you ended up in this class today. Exactly how it was for you. So let's say you were on Facebook and you saw me this morning speak and say, come and join us, and we're going to have a class. Then you took an action to open up your computer or your phone, to set up a little space in your home, and to engage in this practice with me. Meanwhile, I set up this space here with some lighting and a computer so that I could have this experience. Like you're having an experience. We're both having this experience, and we're in this experience together. From a consciousness perspective, your consciousness brought you here. You perceive things in a way, and you're aware of yourself and your life in a way that when you saw my message or a friend spoke to you, somehow you were called to spend this time here with me. And I have been called to spend this time here with you. And we've all been called to spend this time here together. Because our consciousness, the way we think, the way we are thinking right now, the way we perceive things, led us to this experience. If you had been thinking differently, if you had a different consciousness, you wouldn't be here in this moment with us right now. You couldn't be here. You had to have exactly the consciousness you have, and I had to have exactly the consciousness I have, and we all had to have this consciousness to be able to share in this time and this space, time and space. So let's say that consciousness delivers you to a particular address. Consciousness delivers you here to this time and to this space. If your consciousness was other than what it is, you would have been delivered to a different time and a different space. If you like the spaces you're ending up in, then that's an indication that your consciousness is headed in the right direction. Now, I think back upon my days in active addiction, and I will say my consciousness at that time was delivering me to time and space addresses that were unpleasant for me. That my consciousness, as it was at that time, was delivering me to places that I did not enjoy going. or being there, but there I was. And I kept ending up in these same places. And I couldn't, of course, understand the connection between the way I was thinking, the way I was behaving, the actions I was taking, and the places where I ended up being. So if we understand to this point that consciousness actually takes your body, your physical body, and delivers it into a particular moment, into a particular space, into a particular experience, then what we're going to be interested in is how can we work with our consciousness to deliver us to better and better addresses, better and better places. How can we get into the environments, both physically, but also mentally and emotionally and spiritually, which is going to lead to the fulfillment of our life's purpose. It's all about consciousness. So when we use this word, it's not an out there word like, oh, that's just for some people who like believe in that kind of thing. No, it's not a question of belief. This is a knowing. This is beyond belief. This is knowing that if you just think about your own experience, when I think, my thinking and my visualization leads to my next action, my words, my deeds, my experience in reality. I'm participating. So the next question is, if consciousness is that important, and if the outer world is going to be a reflection of the inner world consciousness each of us has, our next question is going to be very clear. How can I elevate my consciousness? How can I expand my consciousness? How can I see more, perceive more, be aware of more than I used to be? What can I do to work on that? And the answer is yoga, by definition. By definition, the answer is yoga. Yoga is the movement from disconnection to connection. Yoga is the movement from darkness, confusion, misunderstanding, into the light, clarity, understanding. Yoga is the movement from addiction, that place where nothing connects, to recovery and freedom, where everything connects. This is the process by which we will be able to expand consciousness. Yoga is not just the work we're doing, but when we leave this time and this space together, how will you be now with your mind, with your relationships and other people around you? How will you be with your food? How will you be today? Hopefully, watching calmly, peacefully, looking for the signs which connect and resonate with your heart. That will be the way you know this is the right way to go. That connects with my heart. This is the right way to go. So let's work every day on building and expanding our consciousness. Not just on the mat. I mean, these practices that we do are very, very important. They're foundational, fundamental, to get ourselves into the right body, into the right mind, into the right frame. And now the work begins of going out into the world of being conscious with everything that we do, and every word that we use, and every breath that we take.